Oh, hello everyone. It is Jynnette The Oracle. I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to Oracle Talks. As you come in, please say hello. Let us know where you're joining from and what you may be sipping on. I am joining you from sunny California, even though it's slightly overcast at the moment. It has actually been sunny earlier, and I have water with me today. I am coming on to do a summer solstice message, and my intention was to do an all signs message, but as I was sitting in meditation and preparing with my team and the Holy Spirit about that, it became apparent that a check-in on the as I like to refer to it, middle heaven realm is actually where the focus is going to be. So it's essentially going to be a check-in on dimensions 4, 5, and 6, which would be the astral realm, dimension 4, and then dimension 5 and 6. For like Christian / Catholic parlance, this would be the realm of dominions, virtues, powers, and principalities. Okay. So we're going to go through each of those areas, and then specifically going to be getting guidance on the getting a snapshot or not even a snapshot, a health check, if you will, on the ascending or accelerating aspect of these dimensions, the health of them, what's essentially going well or not well, or essentially what's going on. We're going to be checking in with that. So we're going to look at the ascending. We're going to be looking at the descending or chaotic, destructive polarity, and then we're also going to be looking at the more, for lack of a better word, like stuck or middle of the road kind of energy that really is more so influenced by what the poles are doing. So whichever pole is exerting a stronger push or pull on it, more so determines how that third in between the poles behaves, because it's not really necessarily pushing in a particular type of direction other than maintaining the status quo. The determination of what the status quo, though, is related to, again, the poles, whether it's the ascending, accelerating pole or the chaotic, destructive pole. Okay, so we're going to be looking at all three, again, dimensions 4 through 6. The fourth dimension, the astral realm, and fifth and sixth dimension, the lower heavenly realm. All right. So get the cards out. So I've already prepared the deck and the team. So we're just actually going to jump right in, because this is a relatively shorter message compared to the all signs message I was doing. So I was like, let's just get this message out since the individual signs don't mean anything. It might be because I did an all signs message in the last Oracle Talk, so I'll just leave it alone. So I'm getting the ascending energy out first. Okay, so at the sixth dimension, we have the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, at the fifth dimension, we have the Major Arcana 9. So this is the Hermit. And then we have in the fourth dimension, the astral realm, the Page of Wands. Let's go to the chaotic and destructive polarity. Get those cards out, and then the more stuck, kind of set in its ways energy. So at the sixth dimension, we have the Ace of Pentacles. At the fifth, we have the Major Arcana 4, so the Emperor. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles in the fourth dimension, the astral realm. And for that third kind of neutral, slow-moving energy, we have at the sixth dimension, the Wheel of Fortune. At the fifth dimension, the Major Arcana 2, or the High Priestess. Okay, and then the Two of Cups in the fourth, the Astral. All right, so off the bat, actually, one of the things that I notice is that all of the cards in the fifth dimension are all Arcana. So that tells me that there's a lot of just in general major activity happening there. Now, also at the sixth dimension for the ascending side, this actually came out reverse. I don't really do reversals with my cards in general, but I think for this one, I will, just because on the chaotic destructive side, there's the Ace of Pentacles, and this is the 2. If this popped out, you know, kind of sideways, upside down as it was going, this tells me that this is a 2 in the direct going towards a 1 rather than up to a 3, right? The progression is going to be to the 1 instead of the 3, which is putting this more on par with this. So this tells me that we're kind of in this really tentative transitional space where if we're not careful, if we're not engaged at the sixth dimensional level and higher, the chaotic, destructive, demonic energy will be able to overcome, because this energy didn't come out in a strong position. The Two of Pentacles on the ascending side. So I don't like to see that from, you know, because I'm on the ascending side. So, but that just means then for, you know, light workers, and I just use the term light worker as an umbrella term. So it's for everyone who is doing beneficial, ascending, accelerating soul evolutionary work, planetary evolutionary work. The sixth dimension is probably a place where you are, depending on where you are in your journey and your service for it, but the sixth dimension is probably a place where you are getting called to provide your skills and your services to strengthen and increase the power of this Two of Pentacles, okay? Because as we can see here, this third party, this this other aspect, is in between of the polarity. For right now, just for ease of simplicity, because the correlative language that I have is out of yogic traditions, because we don't have really a good English word for it. The closest thing would be neutral, but neutrality gives this idea or concept of detachment, and this isn't a lack of detachment. It is engaged. And there is a lot of power here. It's just more so power that has to be tapped into. So it's a more reflective or reactive energy rather than the ascending, accelerating, or the chaotic, destructive, demonic energy, which is like very like proactive. So this is like, there is a good amount of inherent power and reserves and resources here. But this is the Wheel of Fortune. So the wheel just turns. And like I said, as we were coming into this aspect of these different dimensions is going to go in the direction of whichever pole has the greater influence. All right. And over here in this corner of the universe, that now this space and the intention for this work is the ascending path. So we want to influence this to go in the direction, i.e., we want the larger group of kingdoms, communities, peoples, spirits, beings, whatever, at the 6th, 5th, and 4th dimension to be going on, pointed towards the ascending and accelerating path, right? So right now, just do, again, to recap the check on that 6th dimension, that's where we are. The ascending is strong, at least with where it is. And if nothing else changes, it will progress from this one, this ace, to the 2 of Pentacles, right? This, when it came out reversed. The 2 of Pentacles came out reversed. But again, in this context, I'm going to let that inform the message and say that this is because the 2 of Pentacles is a card of change. It's another version of the Wheel of Fortune in a sense. So it can be either going down to the 1 or it can be going up to the 3. And since it was reversed, it means it is going down to the 1. So there needs to be more energy, effort, expansion, etc. occurring on the ascending side of stuff. Because this right now at the 6th dimension specifically, power of principalities, dominions, virtues, lower heavenly realm, is essentially up for grabs. And right now it's pretty much split between the 2. Now we go down to the 5th dimension. At the 5th dimension, I'm hearing a phrase literally for the chaotic, destructive, demonic side of things, preparing for war with this emperor here. So that means that strategy is happening, pulling of resources, etc., to gain ground. Okay, reclaim anything that has been lost, because there has been several wins that's occurring by the light. We're speaking globally, globally, not locally in this regard, right? There's been a lot of wins. And in particular, there's a very important win that happened, which was the bifurcation, which could occur because of the shutting down of those portals to Red Earth. If you don't remember what that is, or you're new to this message, check out the blog page on my website. You can find the link below. And there are 2 blogs that I put up on bifurcation, one for the galactic and one for Earth. And that's going to give you more details, okay? But that was a significant loss. So there's again, that phrase, preparing armies, coming up here on the ascending side. On the ascending, accelerating side, we have the 9 of the Major Arcana 9, which is the Hermit. This is a card of study and learning and knowing the mysteries. This may be about circling back to foundational things you need to circle back down in terms of energetics, knowledge, workings with tools, beings, geometry, crystals, what have you, the grid, like whatever. It feels more like, I was about to say more like a review rather than learning something new, but this actually is more of a both and. So reviewing the foundational things, as well as acquiring new information, okay, at the 5th dimension. The 5th dimension is usually a space where you're going to see a lot, of initiations come through, because this is the dimension on an individual level for humans, well, actually all all living beings here on Earth. This is where you're going to get the first set of wings at the 5th dimension. Okay, that's its own initiation. You may also be having other experiences at this level as well too, and of course that's going to be its own learning, because your call, your greater call outside of self and family / ancestry would come out through the 5th dimension. So there's a lot that's there that's available to be seen. So it's both, again, review of foundational things and the new for the ascending side. The sense I'm getting from this is that this side does have, or this polarity of the astral realm and lower heavenly realms actually already has what it needs. So it's not necessarily an accumulation of stuff and resources per se. This is more, I'm hearing the phrase inherent wisdom that needs to be recalled and implemented, reused, etc. Okay. Now for that, say more active, stuck aspect of these different realms, there's the high priestess. Dual energy is important to bring about, to bring to our attention as well too. Now I know the J and the B represents different things for the tarot, but again, in this context, we're just going to say the two poles of the ascending beneficial side versus the chaotic, demonic, destructive side of the astral realm or the lower heavenly realms. Okay. The book, the sacred book, is giving me this sense of a waiting to implement, write down, systematize what ultimately is chosen, to make it into law, if you will. Shared agreements and contracts. And so it's actively peering and paying attention to that. Again, this feels like a very influenced energy. So depending on how these end up showing up will determine what gets written in the collective agreements, i.e. what gets systematized, what gets maintained moving forward. Let's see, greetings from the wood, I'm myself a holding granddaughter who's sipping on goat's milk. Oh, nice, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We are, one second. Instead of doing an all signs message, I'm doing a check-in on the status of the realms. So 4th dimension, 5th dimension, and 6th dimension for the, accelerating, ascending polarity, for the descending, chaotic, destructive, demonic polarity, and the polarity, if you will, of that in-between space that is influenced by the poles. We just 6th and the 5th, and now we're going into the 4th, of course, which is the astral realm. So this is also interesting energy. Okay, for the descending side of things, chaotic, demonic, destructive aspects of the astral realm, there are a lot of defenses and active defense mechanisms and active defending of access to the astral realm. So this is giving me that vibe of the chaotic, demonic, destructive aspect of the astral realm, not wanting to give up more ground for maybe what ground it has lost. Okay. So for those who do a lot of ancestral work or work a lot in the ancestral realm, the 4D realm, you may find it to be possibly a bit more antagonistic, because this feels very active about not wanting to lose more ground. Because these dragons here are literally guarding the gates. Okay. Now, on the ascending, accelerating polarity of the astral realm, right? We have the Princess of Wands. This is a really powerful transmutive power, quality, energy. Personally, I don't like that it's only a princess. I would rather it be a higher court card, right? But it's at least still a court card because this is only a 10. So it's slightly above. It's slightly above the 10, the page, because after the 10, then we shift into the court cards, which gets into different levels of sovereignty. So at this, at the 4th dimensional level, there is an upper hand by the ascending, accelerating light side, if you will, of the astral realm. Okay, there is an upper hand. It is slight, but it is there. That's really where it should be. Okay. And then for that third kind of more stuck neutral group, we have the 2 of Cups. So this is a confirmation to me of the upper hand that the accelerating side has, because this 2 of Cups here, the message is coming through is about healing. So it means there's some really beautiful healing occurring for souls in the astral realm that are open and available to it. Okay. Which means that this polarity, the accelerating ascending polarity, is exerting the greater influence on the masses, so to speak, in the astral. And so healing is the predominant focus there. So even though this defense is happening to not lose more ground with the 10 of Pentacles for the chaotic demonic side of things, this card is also not an energy of trying to gain new ground. It's just trying to specifically not lose more. So again, this is having the beneficial side, the accelerating side is having the greater influence on the collective, so to speak, or the masses, so to speak. Okay, so really beautiful healing there. So to do a recap, I think we can get this done in like 30 minutes, this message. Astral realm, we seem pretty good. So keep up with the ancestral work that you are doing, have been called to do, or if you just begin it, like whatever, like it's good. Keep doing what you're doing. Be proactive, but like solid there. Personally, I would like us to be a little bit more solid, more strong here. But from the way things are, and I'm looking at honestly like the way things are based off of the energy in the middle, so to speak, for the majority of the realm, which is going to be this 2 of Cups. And the majority of the realm, this 2 of Cups, is a path of healing, a path of ascending, etc. So that's good. Astral overall is good from my perspective with this. At the 5th dimension, lowest, I call that 5th dimension the lowest level of heaven, but it's the first level of angel wings for us. and usually a lot of initiations in the spirit, the fifth dimension. Here is it almost feels like that. What's the word? Anticipation right before a race began, or right before like the charge is yelled for by the captain of an army. Like it's that kind of thing. It's a really strong anticipation. Both polarities, the accelerating polarity and the demonic polarity, or the ascending polarity and the demonic polarity, are in a state of preparation. And so in general, the masses, if you will, at the fifth dimension is essentially looking to see, paying attention to who's going to win out of this coming battle. And that polarity that dominates is going to write the collective agreements at the fifth dimension. Okay. Now, add another layer of groundedness to this message, or not even groundedness, but the ability to understand what this means for our lived experience. This is dynamics between countries. Okay, when we get into fifth and sixth dimension. And we are already seeing and have been seeing this dance of the two are very much on a path of chaos, destruction, malevolent cult energy, etc., right? And those who are choosing a different path. And it really truly is a mixed bag. So it is very, telling spread here with the cards to relay that anticipation of battle between the poles. So for the accelerating side, the ascending side, please know and understand, as I mentioned before, that the destructive, chaotic, demonic side of things is preparing, and has been preparing for battle, for war. I mean, we're already in war, but it's preparing for battle. And then finally at the sixth, to recap, the ascending side is shaky right now because it actually did come out first. So that tells me that this 2 is a weak 2. So it's really more so going towards the 1 rather than ascending up to the 3. And the negative polarity, if you will, the malevolent dark polarity, is already at the Ace of Pentacles. So there's not much ground gain there. And you know, the masses at the sixth dimension really can swing either way. This feels less about the anticipatory energy of the 2 of, or the major arcana 2, the High Priestess, but this feels like a faster change available, but this one feels like it's a little bit more stuck, which makes sense because the 5th is closer to like systems, governments. Like it's a little bit, it takes a while for like that to change. So this energy does feel slower than the Wheel of Fortune, the 6th dimension. Okay. So yeah, astral, we're good. 5th level needs prepared. There's about to be some there's already shit going down, but there's about to be more shit to go down. So pay attention there. And then 6th dimension, you got to step up your game. And those messages were, again, for the ascending side of things, because that's what intersonality speaks to. Okay. Any questions for folks who are here on the live now about what has come through? I am hearing the phrase, prepare for battle. Astral folks, y'all are fine within this context. Keep doing what you're doing, which means don't fall back. Keep doing what you're doing. Remain proactive, but yeah, 5th and 6th, got work to do. Any questions on this? No questions? Okay. Let me see if I have anything else before we're done, but I think that's it. Yeah, because we're not too much over 30 minutes. I'm good. I mean, I want to give like specifics for those in the light, but if it's being expressed publicly, that means it's going to be able to be accessed publicly by all. So in the interest of battle strategy being kept safe and secret, I won't be able to get into that. But if this really does resonate with you and you want to know how this specifically relates to you and your light worker path, and what you've kind of been feeling and being drawn to, just book a session with me. Do the, depending on how much is coming up or what else you want to get into, choose from the options on the sessions page. The link is below in the description box for you to go to. Yeah, and let's chat about it. And we can get into specifics for you. For alumni, in the alumni group, we can actually discuss this in more specific detail. We recently actually have been fleshing out our specific service for the summer season. But I think this intel that has come through provides some additional insight into instructions we've already been given individually. So yeah, I'm gonna take note of these cards and we'll chat about it then in the next session. All right, if that is it, I send you all so much love to the soul family of the Anderson Alchemy. To be clear, to the family of the Anderson Alchemy. And listen, I have divine love for everybody, but in my human, I do not have love for everybody. So from my human self, I send love to the soul family of Anderson Alchemy. And yeah, oh, I don't remember if I mentioned at the beginning, I think I did, but registration has been extended for the Lightworker Incubator through June 28th, because the session schedule has actually been shifted based on the availability for the participants so far who have signed up for the new cohort. So it will now be Thursdays at 4 p.m. instead of Saturdays. So if you have been on the fence or really feel called, but maybe you couldn't do that schedule, and this is being a better time for you or whatever, you have until the 28th of June, so next Saturday, I believe, to apply. I shared a link in the description below to check that out. And when you apply, of course, I'll send you a link and we can jump on a call and you can ask any questions that you have. and we can connect and make sure that this is something actually, you know, is going to be what you expect and what you need, and that it's going to be a good fit for you. Okay. So yeah, I made announcements on social media, but I want to make sure I relate that here just in case, because it's been, you know, Juneteenth and all the things. So I just want to make sure this doesn't get lost in the shuffle. You have one more week to apply to the Lightwork Incubator. Sovereign has been closed at registration, but the Lightwork Incubator remains open. Again, my books are open, so if you want to book a session, especially if this message just really resonates with you and you want to get into specific war strategy, essentially, for this, so for your work, whether it's grid work, light work, ancestral work, work with star races, whatever, session with me. And yeah, we'll go from there. Probably I would, in terms of the session, the personal astrology one will be good. Unless you really want to get into some other work and also possibly a little bit of energy activation, then do the individual coaching session if you are a returning client. If you're not a returning client, please do the astrology session first with me. And I will be doing a spiritual read of the chart for within this context with that, and then we can go from there. Okay, I believe that is it. Again, check out the blogs about the bifurcation, both with on the Earth side of things and the closing of portals to Red Earth, as well as the galactic bifurcation. Both those blogs are up on the site. And yeah, I believe that is it. I won't end up doing time stamps for this because all the messages are important. They do kind of blend together. So when you are rewatching this, please rewatch, or watching the recording, please watch the entire thing so that you don't miss anything, okay? It is a pretty blended message. All right, you are welcome. And I will see you, God willing, next time. All right, bye y'all.